So the brief story of what you have here, the photos, we have scrapbooks. These are not scrapbooks, these are logbooks?
Oh, these are logbooks. These are logbooks that go from 46 until the closing in 58. They document every day, every execution, every prisoner, where he was let out, when he was executed.
When did they start?
1946. This, I put in, these were found loose. Okay, here's your war criminal prison number 1. It's a book.
Was that the name? Landsberg was War Criminal Prison number 1?
Yes, it was.
Standard operating procedure.
Yeah, the SOP, and here's all your basically everything in here that what they could do, what they couldn't do, what they, mess regulations, what they could have, postal regulations, all the death of prisoners. This is basically the last documentation of Landsberg Prison as far as the last written stuff. The gray building hardly changed since I saw it the last time in 1952. At that time, the American soldiers hermetically isolated the prison. Flashlights flared and emerged. That heavy wooden main gate and a dazzling light for split seconds. Through that gate, Hitler let himself drive back to Munich in a shiny Mercedes car. After this term of imprisonment was reduced, 25 years later, men in black colored American uniforms passed through that same gate. The capital letters WCP were printed on trousers, jackets, and shirts, which marked them as war criminals. Generals, economists, diplomats, guards of concentration camps, police officers, a total of 750 who were sentenced by American and Allied courts either to imprisonment or death. During that night, the last 7 red jackets met their fate. The sentenced former SS hangmen were executed by hanging. Death by hanging was their sentence. The same had already happened to 431 other red jackets. Since then, 5 years have passed. Of the originally 750 prisoners, only 11 still remain in the small wing. The building was...
So were these items pulled out of the trash or what?
As far as...
How were they...
How did he bring them home?
Yeah.
I'll show you. Basically, what happened was it was a quick conversion. In other words, the Bavarian government took it over, the U.S. DD'd. They got out of there. So they didn't need any, there was no more prisoners. So my father-in-law grabbed, or my wife's father-in-law grabbed whatever. He was this is him, in fact, right here. This picture.
So what is in this book here?
Okay, this book
looks interesting. The legend says, executed and discharged. So
okay, this is basically a logbook of every. How it works is this is their war criminal personnel record number. This is, and it comes across, and it'll tell you date sentence begins, date sentence ends, the remarks.
So we see 20 months, 18 months, and then death. Okay.
Oh, yeah, here's death.
We're seeing all these E's over here. These are executions.
Executions. Yeah. See, there's 99. Piper.
Piper
was sentenced to death, later to life, let out on, where is it? He was December. He was let out. December of, anyway, they cross-reference across.
So Piper, and to refresh our memories, Piper was...
He was the youngest regimental officer in the SS. He led the Panzer Division in the Battle of the Bulge. He was charged with the Malmedy Massacre. This is the roster of inmates. There were 2 of these books, A through F and then G through Z. The other book had fallen apart outside, so what I did is I consolidated them all into this book, A through. And this is basically your war criminal number, your name, the date of birth, your arrival date, your departure date, your release address.
Okay, and this one does appear to be in alphabetical order.
Yeah, this is alphabetical order. We'll go to, let's see, it's like Piper, since he's the most famous of them all. Joe Chin, see, it's paroled in December 22nd, where he was released to. This, basically, is your roster of inmates. This is another book. This will tell you this gives you, this is the legend for what their offenses were, participation. See, participation in Malmedy Massacre during Battle of the Bulge. See, there's where a lot of these guys, this guy here, Valentin Bernstein, when they have that trial, it's Valentin Bernstein et al. for
Okay.
the Malmedy trial. He was the first, being the first defendant. That's how they named it. So basically, you got your first name, date of birth, former rank and profession, who you were tried by, which trial, there's
Right.
so many, the sentence that you received, when the sentence begins.
So does it show on this page what their crimes were then?
Yeah, the see the offense 11. So this
okay.
guy here would be, if it was 11, his would be participation in murdering American flyers.
Okay.
Okay, and 5, Otto Brinkman, his would be Dora, concentration camp Dora. He was probably
Okay.
a guard. And,
All right.
okay, here's a good example. The highest ranking officer that was sentenced was Joseph Dietrich. He was a 4-star general. His offense was number 15. He got 25 years. These are mugshots. He was the first defendant in the Malmedy massacre.
Okay.
Ernst Bieberstein, Adolf Ott, Martin Sandberger. Those 3, along with Klinghoffer, were the last 4 let out of Landsberg prison. These are all mugshots. These are original mugshots.
They came out of the prison files.
Oh, yeah. Women. There's 62. This is personal photographs taken by this gentleman
Okay.
inside the prison. As you can see, this looks like a prison outside of Landsberg.
But Piper gets his own box?
Yeah, you better believe it. This is a postcard sent to Piper in prison.
Have you ever interpreted the German on the back?
Yes, I have.
What's it basically saying?
Basically, it's
From a family member?
It's a fan letter, basically.
Fan letter, really.
It is actually from somebody in the German that.
So would he have been allowed to have this?
No, you'll see that in the book. That's why it was confiscated. You're not allowed to have anything that shows your uniform with the SS uniform. Anything.
These are what, more mugshots? then?
More. And I've gone through and looked up all when they were tried, what their trial was about, what their sentence was.
So what's the story on the 2 paintings here?
Okay, the 2 paintings, like I said, the artist was Paul Ricken, former school teacher. Was the one of the head honchos at the Mauthausen concentration camp. Head photographer, head bookkeeper. Took pictures of everything. The Germans, they documented everything. Everything that there was, they documented. And he was later sent to Camp Leipzig, I think is what the name of it was. Later on during the trial, he was found guilty of war crimes and sentenced to life.
Are these signed somewhere?
Yeah, they're signed. Oh, right here.
Okay, yeah, I see.
Yeah.
All right, and then on the back?
The signature on this one is same place, right here, Ricken.
Huh.